Mr. Weinschenk.
Good evening. Yorktown has a problem. There is no denying it. Since November, we have seen a dramatic rise in incidences of racism, homophobia, and hate. The week that Donald Trump became President-elect Trump, someone wrote "gay rights are for fags" on a sidewalk. We have had members of our African-American community verbally assaulted with derogatory words, and members of our Muslim community have been called terrorists. And despite all of this, the first time that any Yorktown student heard anything from the Yorktown administration was this past Friday, when Dr. Pacey sent out a video message to every third period class. To me, that is unacceptable and far too little, far too late from this administration. I appreciate the administration sending out a video message, and I appreciate their cooperation in helping us to set up a seminar on our community of respect that occurred today. But the lack of action from the administration has left many students at Yorktown feeling as though there is absolutely no support for them at Yorktown. And that is where we find one of our main problems, that anytime something slightly controversial happens, the administration runs and hides and says, "Oh no, not us, not our problem, it'll go away." That is unacceptable. If someone is being hateful, that is not a situation where the administration should remain on the sidelines. The reason that we're in the situation in which we find ourselves, and the reason why we are all here tonight, is in many ways the fault of the Yorktown administration. The first wave of hate was in November, and after those incidences, nothing happened. There was no message sent out to students and no speech in front of the school that this kind of behavior is completely unacceptable. In this month, Black History Month, it has been even worse, especially for our African American community. Even worse than that, the only reason that we're having this conversation at all is not because of the numerous complaints from members of our African American community and our African American students, but because of complaints from parents over a sign that aims to address what the administration wasn't addressing. Given the number of people here, I think it's clear that Yorktown students are just about tired of going to school with such a hostile environment.
Thank you. Our next speaker is Mr. Wells. Before Mr. Wells starts, though,
It really does help if you hold your applause. We can definitely see the door knocks, so thank you.
And speakers, we ask that you don't lean too close to the mic, the booth. No, you're fine where you are, but just be a little careful. They pick up sound very well, so you don't need to lean into the mics. Thank you.
Hello, my name is Christopher Wells, and I'm a junior at Yorktown High School. I'm here today to address the signs promoting diversity and nothing else at Yorktown. Signs state as follows: patriots know facts are not political, diversity strengthens us, science is real, women's rights are humans' rights, justice is for all, we're all immigrants, love is love, kindness is everything, we are Yorktown. I want to give you an analogy. In the 1950s, when segregation was ended, it was our hope, and it still is our hope today, that African American students come into schools that were newly integrated, teachers would treat them with kindness, respect, and nothing else but dignity. Today, it is also our hope that teachers show support for the oppressed groups of today, LGBT members, immigrants, and many others. And that is what these signs are addressing. These signs are not to attack conservatives, but they are to defend the people who are oppressed today. Also, the people who are opposed to these signs say they have nothing wrong with any of the statements on the signs, yet somehow they manage to be offended by them. It may be fair to say that these signs are politically motivated, but today the American people face an administration that is not afraid to lie to them and has openly called for the oppression of numerous groups. This is our community showing that administration we stand with the oppressed people. I'd like to leave you with a brief quote from George Washington. That is, "When injustice becomes law, resistance becomes duty, and it is our duty to stand with the oppressed groups that were targeted, and that is why these signs were put up, not to target others."
All right, before our
Come
next
on, folks, please
speaker-
don't make me ask you again. All right?
Before
Thank you.
Jordan speaks, let's call up the next four, who are Aubrey Buchanan, Kayla Harrison, Chloe Merriweather, and Bettina Atubiri.
Good evening. My name is Jordan Dixon, and I am a senior at Yorktown High School. I've enjoyed my past 3 years at Yorktown, but due to recent events, I feel as if I'm in a whole new school. The environment and student interaction has changed dramatically ever since November, when our president-elect was decided. Yorktown's mission statement says, "We believe that we are a community of learners engaged in the process of building connections to knowledge, to each other, and to the world. We believe working together to validate knowledge and give meaning to the community, citizenship, career, leadership, integrity, and civility beyond success in school." Although I have not felt this way for the past 3 months, that is, until a group of teachers put signs of encouragement and inclusiveness around the school. Ever since mid-November, there have been many instances where Yorktown students have engaged in racist, homophobic, and sexist behavior, which is completely unacceptable. Let me provide you all with examples of each. As a young African-American female, I'm an avid participant in Yorktown's Sister Circle chapter. Because February is Black History Month, Sister Circle and I promoted Black culture and achievements through media and posters around the school. When one of our posters say, "Every day Black History Matters." A week ago today, on February 9th, we decided to put up a Black Lives Matter poster, to which no avail, where we were verbally harassed, mocked, and called derogatory names. In a school whose motto is "Yorktown Rocks," respect others, community, and self, my African American sisters surely did not feel respected that day. Due to these recent events, I have not felt safe at Yorktown. The actions by my inclusive teachers have improved the situation of the school climate, and for these signs to be taken down would be a huge demoralization of Yorktown
Thank you.
standards. Thank you.
Our next speaker is Aubrey Buchanan.
Good evening. Recently, signs were put up in the halls and classrooms of Yorktown stating that facts are not political, diversity strengthens us, science is real, women's rights are human rights, justice for all, we're all immigrants, and kindness is everything. Certain people find these signs to favor one political party over another and believe that the conservative viewpoint is not expressed equally. However, many students find no problem with these signs as they promote unity and equality among those who work and learn in the building. These signs were designed in reaction to a recent change in the environment at Yorktown, which the administration has largely ignored. Students here feel threatened and unaccepted after hearing jokes about lynchings and deportations and instances of anti-gay slurs being written on school property. At Yorktown, there's a lot of economic and religious diversity. We also have LGBT+ and immigrant students who appreciate the support and call for unity in these uncertain times. I can understand that in our current political climate, the statements on the signs could be viewed as political, but they shouldn't have to be. Basic human decency and acceptance should not be partisan issues, but universally acknowledged values. I do not truly believe that people are against what the signs themselves say, but rather what they represent. The signs show that some teachers are willing to stand up for marginalized students and make the point that their rights matter just like everyone else's. Although some staff members are extremely supportive, others are not. In the past, both staff and the administration have been guilty of not taking appropriate action to discipline students who use racial slurs and hateful rhetoric. That this is allowed to continue is completely unacceptable. School ought to be a safe place where everyone is welcome to learn. The signs should remain up to support the marginalized groups in our school. However, that is not enough. The administration needs to take a stronger stance against those aberrant remarks and the conduct of some of those in our community. We all must work together to honor the core values of inclusion, equality, and respect of Yorktown High School and the Arlington County Public School System. Thank you.
Thank you. Kayla?
Hello, my name is Kayla Harrison. I'm a junior at Yorktown High School and also the president of Sister Circle. This club strives to bridge divides between the African American community, create relationships, and complete various projects over the course of the year. One of these projects in which we spend the majority of our time and take a lot of pride in is Black History Month. Last Thursday, members of Sister Circle and I went to hang up our hashtag Black Lives Matter sign, a sign that we had received permission from the Yorktown's administration to have hung up the week of February 6th. Before we were able to get the sign fully mounted, my sisters and I were met with hostility from our peers. This hostility included derogatory language, pictures of us and our sign being taken that would find their way onto social media alongside disrespectful comments, and obscene gestures including the middle finger. Later that day, Sister Circle would learn that as a result of the sign being put up, kids in an English class chose to post derogatory phrases including the N-word, F Black people, and blacks will die on the smartboard. Many would ask themselves, why are there so many incidents at Yorktown in which kids